So I got a phone call which shut off my phone, and then it didn't reboot like I thought, so I missed a bunch. But this video is getting quite long anyway, so I'm sure you won't miss what I've done. So I've just sort of started adding some things. I added some stitching right on that page. I added some stitching on this page to reinforce it. I added some crazy stitching at the end of this page. And now as I go into the center here on this black bag, I'm just going to add a little bit of black wallpaper that I trimmed and glue that in just to add some interest to the black bag. And, you know, I don't want this journal to be too full of embellishments and busy pieces, because I do want it to be sort of a simple journal where the people shine through, but the black was a lot, so I figure this will break it up just a little bit. And I'm trying to think about what I want to do on the inside here, and I decide to add just a little bit more of the other part of the wallpaper. It will give plenty of space on the left-hand side for journaling, and just sort of break up all that black. And I do like the graphic with the girl right there on the right. And here's a little bit of my favorite washi tape. Do you guys have washi tape that you just tend to go to over and over and over? I do, and this is the one I tend to use a lot. So now that'll go in the center. That's signature number 1. Let's flip through it really quick. I have the stitching on the side there. I'm really digging how the shorter front page kind of allows that second page to shine through. I kind of like the flow of these pages. I like the tabs on the side. I'm looking for a little something to throw in here. I have a stack of old postcards I bought that are all the same, so I'm just going to glue that on so that there's some place for journaling and kind of break up all that black. Again, I'm not trying to overthink this. This is more about fleshing out the project. This is too plain. So the only thing that I see is that this page is awfully plain, and this page is not only awfully plain, I don't like how jagged it is. And then this signature, I'm going to put some sewing here, just for interest. That helps. And then I wanted to put some sewing in these pages because these are folded, so they make pockets. So whenever I speed up the video, I'm going to do a voiceover just so that we can get through this a little bit faster, because like I said, this is more of just me fleshing out an idea and not so much a tutorial as much as just you looking at my process as I'm trying to figure this all out. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the inside of the book, so I put some old book page on because I want to see if I like that against the signatures, and if I don't, it just adds a layer of strength, so I'm not too worried about it. And when I look at it, I'm not really that thrilled with the way that it looks just with text, so I'm going to find a little something extra for that. But I'm going to work on the front cover first, and I found my image that I really like, and I'm just trying to line it up with the circle. And I really like this cardboard packaging because it's really going to give some integrity to the front of the journal. And I like how plain it is because, again, I just really love the images of the people and the black and white contrast. So the simplicity of the cover is actually pretty okay with me, which I usually like a little bit more of an interesting cover, but this is going to work for me good. So I glue that in, and now I am going to glue that onto the top of the file folder. I think I'm going to need a little bit more stick, so I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac or my 3-in-1 glue. And the folds are already there from the packaging. And I'm just going to glue those down on the other side in a minute. And I'm just checking to make sure I still really like that with the ribbon. The ribbon is some vintage upholstery ribbon from France that I got from a friend, and I think it's going to be perfect on this journal. I'm just trying to line it up with the edge of the file folder. I'm going to trim that little bit off, and yeah, I think it looks pretty okay. Now, here I do something that, in hindsight, really not a smart move. I don't know why I wanted to place the ribbon on ahead of time. I don't know. Maybe I was impatient and I wanted to see what it looked like on the cover, but that was really not that smart of an idea, because then it's in my way for the rest. I don't know. I'm not sure why I did that. I think I just wanted it lined up so that I could figure other things out, but it ends up getting in my way a lot. And, I should have done that at the very end. But hey, it is what it is. When you're not really doing things with a plan, you just kind of wing it. So I've decided I really don't like that paper in the inside, so I'm going to put a different scrapbook paper in that I just think goes a little bit better with the book. And yeah, it's just, an evolving project. What I'm really hoping to gain from doing this project is to see whether or not these tabs with people's faces really do look good in a journal, whether or not they enhance a project and kind of give it character. And I'm trying to flesh out different ideas. In my head, I'm thinking of how much fun it would be to make tags that stick out of pockets with people's faces. And, this is just the first step. I posted a picture of all the little tabs on my Instagram, and somebody mentioned how great this would be for a family album, and each person had their own tab, and I just think there's just so many things you can do with it. So now I'm putting on some book tape, book cloth, just to kind of reinforce that, to give it some strength. And again, that ribbon in the back is just going to totally get in my way because I had to put it on there. Don't know why. And I'm just sort of like putting the signatures in, making sure I like them. And now I'm just going to show you a couple snippets of me sewing it in. Sewing it in was a fairly painful process because that ribbon kept getting in my way. And I don't know, everybody has a favorite part of doing their journal. Sewing is my least favorite part, like the binding part. I don't know why it is. It's not that hard, but I don't know. I dread it, and sometimes I just make it more complicated than it needs to be. So I just sort of sped this part up and just put a few of the snippets in, because we all know how to do a pamphlet stitch, and we all know how to sew it in. So, and if you don't, then there's so many good videos on YouTube. Just, search pamphlet stitch. You will find it pretty quickly. I don't believe I have any videos on that specific thing, but I know a lot of my contemporaries do, and there's a lot of information out there. So now I am finally going to glue that ribbon down. It's been sort of hanging out there for a while, and it needs to be glued down. You can see I put another piece of scrapbook paper on the back just to make it a little bit more decorative. I kind of dig that the back cover and the front cover are completely different, and I really love those little faces sticking out. I'm just checking it and securing it, making sure it's smooth. And then that part, the sewing will be done and the spine will be covered, and we are getting closer to being finished. So now I'm going to trim off the ends of the trim, the ribbon, kind of neaten that up a little bit, and I just want to do a few little touches on the cover. So I'm thinking it looks a little bit plain, and I'm going to take out this little fine narrow washi I have, and I tend to think that the narrow washi just doesn't stay on very well, so I'm going to run a little bead of glue down there. I think it just gives it a little extra finish and pizzazz. And I also decide that you'll see in a minute that I'm going to use the same tape to make like a sort of a faux photo corner, because I don't want to put real photo corners on it, and it just kind of gives it that little extra something. I'm using vintage photo to put some ink on the front just to give the cover a little depth. And even though I didn't really ink anywhere inside, I thought the cover could use a little bit. And here I put the adhesive, or the, glitter glue on the washi and stuck it down. It kind of made a little bit of a mess. So I realized, oh, that's not the best way to go about doing that. The next time I'll just make the bead glue first and place the washi on top. And that worked much better. I'm not too worried about it. This is just a little idea project for me to keep, and I think, I'm not going to sell it or anything. So it's fine that it's, a little messy and not perfect. I think what I really like about this journal is that it's so plain inside, and the people on the outside are the focus. So you could make the journal more of a writing journal, and you could write about your friends, you could write about your feelings. I was thinking this would make a great idea journal for me, for other little things that I might come up with that I want to flesh out. A lot of times when I have a journal, I might want a journal that I collage in or put art in, because of the way that the people really grab you graphically. I think this would make a really great writing journal. I think handwriting next to all those little people would be really great. And I love all the threads next to the gentleman's head on the top of the book. So as I flip through, I don't know if you have the same feeling, but I just love all those faces. And I love, because there's not a lot to compete with the faces, that they really shine through. And now I think I'm going to add a few more interesting faces by taking some of those Tim Holtz photo booth strips. I'm just going to add those on pages that maybe we don't have as many faces on them, or as much. I don't know. I'm just going to feel out where I think graphically it would make the most sense. And then I'm going to take a stapler and just kind of staple them in. I really think this is the kind of journal where I would not add additional art. Like I said, I really think this would be really well suited for a writing journal. I think that all of that plain white space that you see in the journal will look great with handwriting next to the faces. So we'll see. Oh, here, so what you didn't see was the last slide I put in had a pocket behind it, so you didn't see the back of the staple, but I didn't really want to see the back of the staple on that page. I didn't want it to be so plain, so I put a little bit of cloth on the back so that when you look at it, you don't really see the back of the staple, you just see that little textile. And now I'm going to see if any of the fussy cuts that I've recently done from the same book would look good on some of the blank pages. Again, to decorate the pages without overwhelming the pages. And again, keep that thread of people's faces, interesting people that look, I don't know, something about them makes you want to know more. Maybe it would be fun to find words that went with these pictures and write stories about them. Who knows? Just little inspiration of these people peeking out from the pages. I'm going to add this beauty queen here. Just clean her up a little bit. I really love these decade books. They have just so many images to choose from, and a lot of them are so fun. Really interesting pictures that I'm not finding in other places. And there's all sorts of different sizes, from really big to kind of small. I'm just inking her up because you can see the white. I don't like when you fussy cut something that's black and you can see the white of the paper. So I'm just going to put her in, stand her up on this page with the letters. It was from like a game, like a password game or something. I don't remember. And I have these little pieces of tissue left over from a project I did. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I altered some rocks. I put some images on rocks at the end of the summer, and with some summer vibe images, and they came out pretty cool. So if you're interested in that, go on my Instagram. You'll see those cool little rocks. And I have these pieces left over, and because they're so translucent, I thought they'd really look nice on a page. And again, I'm looking for images of people. Okay, I decided to just jump to the end. We were losing light last night, and I just thought it might be more effective to just do a flip through, talk about what I like and don't like about this project, where I would change in the future. And I think you guys get the idea. The whole point of this project was to take an idea that was in my head and just start doing it. And I think that is really important to do. Sometimes not overthink things. I really love the head sticking out with the threads. I will definitely do this in the future. Probably add different color threads. I think it would be very colorful. I've actually had the idea that it would be really interesting to make a non-traditional cover that maybe goes up and down to highlight the faces more. I think that would make it fun. I might even call it a peekaboo journal because the people are kind of peeking out, I'm really loving the very plain cover with the really strong visuals of the people. I just love how that pops for me. And I really love this idea of the whale's tail with people's faces and eyes. Again, if I can figure out a way to sort of highlight that more, that's definitely something I want to keep working with. In this journal, I really like the black and the white, the very simple with the strong graphic elements. I think it would make a great writing journal because of that. I don't think that I would collage too much more in here because I just think there's some great writing space, and I love that it's all about people. I love the messy stitching. This was fun. I will definitely do this more, adding images behind the paint chips. I would like to play around with doing some tags in journal cards with some of the whale's tail featuring faces, so maybe I'll continue to work in here. And if I do, I will post that. And I love the idea of adding those strong fussy cut pieces in some very simple graphic elements to really enhance the writing. So all in all, I really like the first stab. Definitely some room for improvement. Kind of a big fan now of this sort of shorter first page with the elements sticking out. A lot of times I think just starting an idea is a great jumping off point for other ideas, like adding the little textile in the back so you don't see the staple, and just little things you work through as you're trying out something new. I hope you enjoyed fleshing this idea out with me. Let me know what you think of this. How would you approach this? What are your ideas? And do you like the idea of just trying something new on camera with all its successes and failures? I think I might call this a peekaboo journal because they're all peeking out, and I'm going to hopefully expand on this in the future. I thank you for taking this little journey with me as I play around with this idea. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love for you to subscribe. Take care. See you soon.